Hi, it's Handi Mandi, and this episode's going to be all about embroidery beading projects. So if you want to do clothing or if you want to do a canvas, I'm here to help you figure out your supplies and best places to shop for it on a budget. Trust me, there are a lot of bargains out there. And yeah, so let's get to it. So first off, we're going to start with what you need. So the basics, no matter what decorative supplies you're going to need, beading, embroidery, what you're going to need to put it onto that fabric. Whether it's whether you're doing it for a square canvas to mount on your wall, or whether or not it's for a fabric that you want to put on some clothing or something. So, you're going to need some needles, and you want to make sure that you're getting a needle that is specific for whatever project you're doing. So what's really great is over at Walmart they have this Crafting Essentials brand 25 assorted craft needles, and they come in little packages like this, and they're like $2. And what's great is they've organized it to, let me show you guys this. They've organized it so that you guys can pick based on your project. So they've got a whole bunch in here for whatever you need. Now I've already taken out a couple of the embroidery ones, of course. And although they have beading ones in here, yeah, they're like really thick, and I don't want the needle to be so thick because a lot of the beads that I'm using have really small holes. So I need really good beading needles, which is why I have these from Fabricland. Now I'm in Canada, of course, so if you guys get a chance to come up, or if you have a friend who wants to send some down or order it, I don't know if they do ordering online, but fabric stores tend to carry a lot of supplies, so you can always check up your local fabric store. This is the Unique brand, and it's like $2, and you get 18 beading needles, and they're like super long, and they're super thin. They're like just shy of like the thickness of a strand of hair from your head. It's really awesome. So you're gonna need snips or some kind of scissors to cut your thread, whether you're beading or embroidering. If you are beading, especially with these kinds of needles, the heads or the little holes in the top of the needle where your thread's going through is really small, so you may need a little help from a needle threader. And these are, you know, you can find these in packages. If you get like a big sewing kit, you'll have like all that you're gonna need. You can also get like a thimble in case your fabric's really tough to go through. So they come in little packs, and you get snips, you get your needle threader, your needle, like just basic needles, not like specific to your crafts, but a whole bunch of stuff. So if that's the way you want to go, they can be as low as like $2 at Walmart. You are also going to need a piece of fabric that you're going to do it on. Rule of thumb, if whatever your project is, the majority color that you're going to be using, because what you want to do is you want to either use Photoshop or draw it by hand and color it out, and you want to figure out what your majority color is. So say you're going to use all blue or all purple, that's the kind of color fabric that you want, and you can always make sure to go one up lighter, because it's always easier to go over darker, but if you have a light color or a see-through bead, you're going to see it through it, and that's why I always make sure to embroider around the beads, so that way it covers the fabric that's in the background and makes those beads pop, especially if they're like glass and they're clear. So make sure to choose a really nice fabric. This is silk taffeta, so make sure to press it along with your sew-in interfacing. Now you can get it in different, I think they're like mostly standard like black or white, but you want a sew-in interfacing, not a fusible, because the layers of your fabric, so this is going to be your fabric of choice, the color that you're going to start beading or embroidering on or whatever, and this is going to be your sew-in interfacing. If it's a, of course somebody's calling. One second. Alright, so where was I? So if it's a fusible fabric, it's gonna get, it fuses, so it's like got this gluey kind of adhesive that will stick to your fabric, and that's what gives it strength. If it's really thin or needs in certain areas, it's gonna, you know, rub like when you have a collar, you need to put it up in here behind the fabric in between the layers so that when you're putting it on and off, it's not going to like degrade the fabric. So that's what interfacing is for. And with your beading, your fabric, it might need strength, especially with like beads, embroidery, all that stuff. So much weight, like this is considerably heavy. Well, not considerably, but I mean like if I were to do like a whole big canvas and like super heavy beads, it gets heavy. So I mean all these stitches and stuff, it starts spreading all the weaving and it just needs strength. So what you want to do is have a sew-in interfacing and tack it down. That way it has a little bit of movement, because once you stick it, it's not secure in any other way. So you start sewing and your embroidery stitches start scrunching everything together. It's going to start taking away from that adhesive that just not going to stick anymore. It's going to start shifting around and it defeats the purpose because it's not tacked in any other way. So with sewing and interfacing, everything's tacked down with your running stitch, which I will be teaching you. And that way, whenever I'm doing all my stitches, I know that the fabric's going to have its reinforcement and it's not going to move around. You're also going to need these rings. As you can see, I've already got a wooden one on here, and they can be available at Walmart, or your sewing shop like Fabricland, Walmart, Michaels, and they're as low as like $2. This is, I think, like $2.58. So this is the one that I use for this. If you're going to be doing a canvas, you want to make sure to get the size canvas that you want, because what you're going to do is you're going to put it down and you're going to trace all around and give it a little bit of leeway, because with all those stitches everything starts scrunching up. Like if you look at this was supposed to be a square inch and it's already warped because all the stitches have scrunched it, and that's why it gets all those puckers. So even though you're trying to make it taut and you've got all your tacks down, it's going to do it anyway. So you have to give like a little border of like, say, depending, if I would just do like a quarter, or what I did was I just did the exact size of my canvas, and then once I was done I put it straight up to the canvas and see how much it shrank, and then I added that border, and then I added around. So you will have to accommodate your picture accordingly, otherwise it's going to like have a little border around. You could just, put it right there on the canvas and just, embroider a little frame around it. That is an option. Whatever your canvas size is, you want to make sure this is bigger, because you can't just do the middle section and then shift this around so you can do the corner, because with all that beads and stuff, it's not going to go through these hoops. So make sure this, or whatever frame you're using, is bigger than whatever your canvas area is. Now with embroidery, I haven't done that before, like try to warp it so that I could do different areas, but it's up to you. You'll have to do try on error. But from what I understand, I'd rather, rule of thumb, bigger ring than my canvas. Another option too is if you're getting a whole bunch of like different beads or embroidery or whatever, well, not floss, because that's fine. Beads or sequins, those are another option. Get like these little organizers if they're like all mixed into like packs, or they have like mixed beads but you only want like a certain color. These are really good. The tops come off and then you can separate them and organize them as you need to.